Hello everyone, my name is Alex Batty, just like Jeff said. I'm a co-chair of the Apprenticeship Committee. My other chair is Luke Dennison. I'm a second-term apprentice. I work for Montgomery Industrial Services right now, and this is my first time on a committee. So I'm just going to give a quick introduction to our committee members. Like I mentioned, Luke Dennison, he's a co-chair, journey person with Hydro One. Myself, Alex Batty, second-term apprentice, Montgomery Industrial Services. Carrie Lynn Kubek, journey person with Hydro One. Stefan Samuels, second-term apprentice, Hydro One. Taylor Tara, second-term apprentice, she works for Bruce Power. Andrew Mulhall, he's a second-term apprentice, he's also here with us, Hydro One. And Ryan Buffett, he's a fourth-term apprentice, he works for Fairway Electric. We had our first meeting at the CUSW headquarters, and what we found, we didn't really know where to start because we were a pretty fresh and new committee of people. So what we did is, as a group, we decided to look at the CUSW website and start with our web page and figure out what our goal is, what our purpose is within the union. We found that our mandate, and I'm just going to read this part. This is hopefully the only part that I really read for script here. So the mandate of this National Apprenticeship Committee represents the voice of current and future apprentices in the CUSW Apprenticeship Program. Our purpose is to identify and communicate the needs of apprentices to the councils, trustees, boards, organizations, and other stakeholders who have an impact on our future as journey persons. So after kind of breaking that down with our committee, we decided that our original committee members, which consisted of a lot of journey people and not very many apprentices, there was only 2 apprentices there, we kind of discussed the idea of bringing more apprentices in because the goal of our committee was to be the voices of the apprentices. So after kind of going through that, we talked to some of the journey people that were on the committee, and they decided that they would step down to bring in some more apprentices for us to better represent the union and the people that we're trying to reach out to and bring voice to. We also talked about the diversity within our committee. So we talked about having women, we talked about having Indigenous peoples, we talked about having different contractors and not just those big 3 contractors, because we need to make sure those voices are also being heard at Fairway. We also would like to, and we have a goal to try to get a linesperson apprentice so that another voice is heard as well. That is often not. I've got a few recent photos of apprentices at work. These are courtesy, one is of myself in the RPPE from Darlington. The other picture is courtesy of Luke. He took some photos of 2 apprentices working. One apprentice there is Luke Ardeas and Stefan Samuel. Stefan is on our committee. I think it's important to recognize the fact that as a membership we have an obligation to ensure that our current and future apprentices are gaining the skills and experience that we need to maintain the highly skilled work that we want and that our future is foreseeing. And the only way that we're going to do that is by working and having the guidance from the journey people that are wanting to teach us. So I've had a lot of conversations at work because it really interests me about what apprentices want and what new journey people want. So after having a lot of conversations at work, I can speak for myself. I can't really speak for my other committee members because we haven't had a chance to discuss this fully. There's a lot of difference between what journey people think that apprentices need and what apprentices actually want with their apprenticeship. There's some common themes, and I've written down a few of them. So apprentices, we want consistent work. I can speak for Montgomery, and there's a lot of apprentices that haven't been working very much lately. So for one, that hurts our initiative to be at work and to go to work. It hurts our apprenticeship in general, our time. It slows down our apprenticeship, so it's taking longer time to be a journey person status. We also want busy days. We want to be working. Continuous learning. We want to learn those new skills so that we have a great broad variety of skills and experience. When we become journey people, we can do whatever our boss or our leader in our crew needs us to do. We want to learn new things. We want to work with willing journey people. Some people aren't teachers, and we're willing to understand that, but we want to make sure that whoever we're paired up with as a journey person wants to teach us. And of course, everyone wants a good paying job. A lot of us have families, or we want to start families, and we all want to do well with our lives financially. I put a couple bullets here for CUSW, and I want to expand on that as well. I think CUSW wants quality work. We also need safe work to ensure that our people are arriving home safely. We also want participation from our apprentices, eager workers, and the people that take initiative. So I think what we need to aim for is that middle point between what journey people and new journey people know that apprentices need and what apprentices right now want and need out of their apprenticeship. We need to meet in the middle. So we can have on-the-job practical learning during our job. We can have practical training during downtime, and I know I've spoken to some people about this, that sometimes it's not part of the scope of work, or if you get hurt during this time, it's an issue. But why can't we put it into the scope of work? Because there is a lot of downtime in some of the places that we work in. So I think that if we fill that time with some of the scrap material, or even having conversations about things during that time, anything helps, right? Workplace training. Let's make sure that we're getting apprentices the training that some of the journey people are needing, the specialized training. Let's get a few apprentices in there so that we understand what's happening in the broad scope of the job that we're on. Taking advantage of the CUSW training facilities, all these great ideas that they're bringing forward with the Training and Education Committee. Let's make sure we're getting apprentices in there as well. Outside training courses, maybe there's an opportunity to facilitate a similar thing that another unit did with their master's course, but let's do that for fiber optic training. Let's do that for fire alarm training, anything like that, or welding. I think if we can make some partnerships with training facilities that we can throw a bunch of apprentices and journey people in, it will help with that. So I think the final step is to market that to apprentices, because I think there's a consensus that maybe apprentices don't want to spend the time to do that. And maybe there's certain ways that we can do that by asking the Apprentice Governing Council to talk to our employers and say, what do you value? What does an apprentice need to continue to work? And then what does a journey person continue to need? Using the Training Trust Fund, making sure apprentices use that, because it's a great tool, but we just need to maybe we need for the next little bit to spoon feed some information to apprentices to get them started, change the culture. And we're already starting to see skills-based calls, so let's put that for apprentices too. Not to say that it's going to override seniority, but if you have this training, it's an asset to us, right? The NAC's role, so our committee's role, a lot of it is being a liaison. So we're going to liaise with the Training and Education Committee to find relevant training, like I said. Liaise with the Apprenticeship Governance Council to ask employers, what do you value? Challenge CUSW apprentices to take additional training. We can have post jobs with preferred training, like I was saying before, in our actual calls. And then we need to obtain feedback from apprentices and employers on an ongoing basis to see how things are going, and make sure that we're also liaisoning with the Communications Committee to make sure that that information is coming up and down, and seeing how we're doing and constantly reevaluate that. So yeah, that's it.